Alrighty, we put the Nicot system in on Saturday morning, and we came out here Monday afternoon and pulled the Nicot cage out and checked to see how many eggs have been laid, and I'm seeing about 80 to 90% of all the cups have an egg in them. So we went ahead and pulled the cover off so the queen could go ahead and get out, and she's free to roam now and start laying in the rest of them. So I put the Nicot cage back in so that for the next 3 to 4 days, they can, when the eggs start to hatch, they can start feeding them, and at that time we'll go ahead and pull them out and put the cups on the bar holders, and then we'll take those and put them in the starter hives. And that's pretty much our beginning, how we begin our system with the Nicot system. We let the queen lay, leave the eggs in. It takes about 3 days for the eggs to hatch. And then we like to have them in there at least 1 to 2 days so that they can start feeding. When we start seeing that white creamy royal jelly in the bottoms with the little comma-shaped larva, then that's when we pull them and start putting them on the cell bars. And I already tomorrow I'll be back up here, and I have let's see, I have one hive here, a hive here, and 2 hives there that will be holding my cell bars. And we'll put a queen excluder in each one tomorrow, and that way it gives them time for the eggs that are in the top to go ahead and mature and get them out of the way. And then by that time these will be ready, and we'll go ahead and be able to just slide those cell bars right inside our starters and let them get going. Once they cap the queen cells, then we move them to something like this. This is one of our mating nukes, and it doesn't have a queen in it. We do have frames in it, and I have some brood in there as well, but there's no queen in there. So those will be ready to put the queen cells in, and as the nursing bees are hatching out, we already have nursing bees in there, the new queen can just go right in, and we'll have plenty of room to go ahead and start laying eggs, getting mated, and then start the laying eggs. So once we see a good week to 2 weeks of her laying good, we get ready to start pulling them out, and either transfer them to one of our 5-frame nukes down here, which we've already done a couple already. We have another mating nuke here, and then we have a queen in this one, and a queen and 2 queens there already that we pushed over, and the rest of the queens we sold. So this is our next batch that we're starting on, and we'll move some of those down into those, and whenever the rest of the queens will just be sold. So we won't be keeping them. I'm just slowly building up our apiary, and once those 5 frames fill out, then we'll move them to a 10 frame like these, and let them start building that out. And once they get that full, then we put another box on top of it, have double brood boxes, and we've got another box to start raising more queens, putting another cell bar in for a starter hive. So, and then of course we've got our supers on that one and that one for honey. They're about halfway full of honey right now. And then I've got another one I've started in the back. I moved one of the 5 frames to, and it's a double brood box. And the top box is probably about 60% full. So once we get it up to about 80 to 90%, then I'll start using it to put cell bars in as well. We're getting probably by the summertime, we should be ready to buy another Nicot system. I have one hive here, and then down here I have another hive just like this one. And then on this end I have 2 more mating nukes, which I have a queen in one, and the other one is going to be ready to accept one of these queen cells as soon as we pull it out. The queen cell is capped, then we'll be moving it in here as well. They're similar to these. They're just 2 frames, and then I have a frame feeder inside. Matter of fact, I can let y'all have a peek at that to see what it looks like. This is one of our long lanes, and we've started these. There's one of them there. They have the frame feeder in there and 2 frames. This one right here this is the one with the queen, and you can see they're doing quite well. They fill it out pretty good. We've never had one swarm. They've never built to a swarm. Once they get really packing that out good, then we take those 2 frames and we bring them down to one of these 5 frames, which we have 3 frames already in it, and then we checkerboard it. We'll move this over sort of like this, and then we'll put a frame here and a frame here that out of our mating nuke with the newly mated queen, and she's already laying eggs, so we just stick her right in there, and then we'll put a feeder. We'll take this lid off and we'll put a feeder similar to this one on that one, and then we'll start feeding them, and they'll fill that box out. And when they do, then we move them up, upgrade them to a 10 frame. I've got one more 10 frame down here on this end that is empty right now. As soon as I get another 5 frame ready to move, we're going to move it into here and buy another Nicot, and we'll put it in our other one. And these will be our Nicot systems will be going in here, so we can have queens that are laying 100 eggs at a time. So we'll have 300 eggs at a time. You know, of course, you never get. We've been averaging about 70 to 80% acceptance rate on our queens. I did have one a couple of times. I got a little over 90%. So they really do good. You got to have them really packed out like this. It really helps in there getting the bees, and also my other 10 framers, they're packed out just like this. I mean, they're packed to the hilt. And instead of just adding another box sometimes, which we do, we add a super on them. Sometimes I'll just pull frames out of them and put them inside of our mating nukes to add more mating nukes. And that way we can all we do is throw a queen cell in it, get a frame of brood, throw in there with it, an empty frame next to it, and they go to town. They'll fill it out just like they did this one on the end here. Within about 2 to 3 weeks, the queen's laying, and they go to town. And when they pack them out, when we see they're so full, they look like they're going to swarm. But like I said, I'm not saying they can't swarm. I'm just saying we've never had one swarm yet. I have left them in these 2 frame nukes through the winter. We had one, I left, actually I did 4 of our 2 frame mating nukes. We left the queen in them for 4 months prior I think it was like in August we put the queen in there, and she made it all the way. All four made it just fine all the way till April of the following year, and then we moved her when they started breasting. When the flow started, we put her in a 5-frame and moved her down. So these 2-frame nukes are great for raising queens. You can just take a frame of, like I could pull a frame of eggs out of here if I wanted to, or out of any of my other 10 framers. Just pull one frame out, put one frame in those, have an empty frame next to it. As long as I'm feeding them sugar water, they build the comb up, and the one next to it, they make their own queen cells. We leave about 3 queen cells in there. The rest we move, and I'll take those queen cells and move them down to one of my other feeders down here, and let them go, because like I said, we don't use foundation. We let them build the comb out, and it makes it a lot easier to cut out queen cells, because sometimes they might make, anywhere from 5 to 6 up to 10 or 11. I had one that had 11 queen cells inside of one, and we just cut, left them three really nice queen cells in there, and the rest we moved to our mating nukes. And that's a nice little addition, as well as having these. And this queen here, these 2 queens, and the queens in those are my best layers. I rotate around where I put the Nicot in here, so I'm getting a good stock of queens. And every queen I had, they fill up these boxes. Matter of fact, this is one of them we just did about a month ago, and it's already getting full. Well, I guess this one's probably about 3 weeks. That one's about 3 weeks old there. They've got all but about 1 frame filled out in it. When they start to fill that frame out and get it full and just pack out that box where they're just about getting close to swarming, we'll pull them and move them to a 10 frame like we did this one here. This is one of our 10 frames. I don't know if you notice, I put the bricks up for a mated queen, and then laid down for no queen at all. And then we have a spot of red on here, which means the queen is there, or there's a queen cell in it. And if it's the unpainted side, it is just a queen cell in there, or a virgin queen. And then when she mates, we turn the red side up just like we do that one. So, we have a side dose. So that's a little system I set up, so I know what's in each box. Of course, I haven't painted some of these other ones where I do have mated queens in them, but it's mostly the new boxes, so I know. And then we move them to our other yard as well. But we'll take a frame just like this one, and cut the comb off the top, leave a little bit of starter strip there, and then we'll slide one of those inside one of our mating nukes. Yeah, we can take a mating nuke. Well, there's a few bees hanging out in this one, but this is one we did. And I'll just take an empty frame and slide it inside there, and then I'll put a frame of brood with eggs in here. And then I'll take one of my queen cells and I'll slide it down between the frame, and then we'll put one of these feeders on top of that to start feeding them. I don't have the feeder on that one. I'm rebuilding that. I had the pans in there where I put sugar water, and now I'm just going to the quart jars on these and pint jars. But yeah, we get them doing pretty good. This is a pretty new one. There quite a few bees in this one. I have my little moths. I had every now and then I see a 2 or 3 little small hive beetles, and I throw a strip in there. And this one is another one that we started. So I've got quite a few that have we just started. This one doesn't have a queen in it yet, but if I can get the top off here, do this one hand, you can see it's got quite a bit of bees in there. They're not really packed in there, but there's quite a few in there. And let me set this camera down a minute if I can use two hands. But we have a tagging system that I put on the front. Don't know when I put it in there, 4/9, and we just started one. We just put a frame of eggs and larvae and capped a brood, and then put an empty frame next to it. And they've already, since the 9th, they've already, let's see, today's the 17th, so they've already filled out that comb in that empty one. And we already have 4 queen cells in that one. And I'm just going to leave those 4 in there. I'm not even going to cut out that 4th one. I'll just leave them in there, let them go their course. But it is a little thing that we've done, and like I said, we like this Nicot system. It works very well. My grafting skills, I'm still learning. I graft. I'm getting about 50% acceptance with my grafting, so I'm getting a little better with it. I still do some grafting in my other yard, but I wanted to use this Nicot system, and I'm very pleased with it. This is my 6th round of since last year. This year I've made 3. We get about 70 eggs on our cells, and I have usually between 50 to 65, somewhere along in that area, of queens accepted. And then we'll sell. I keep, I always leave at least 4 or 5 queens, extra queens in this yard, just in case, an emergency, we need one or whatever. And then we have a couple we start, and then I take the rest to our other yard, and then whatever we have left, I sell those. So generally we're selling probably around 50 queens a month right now. So I'm wanting to get it up to where I can do 100 queens a month. I'm retired, and going in there, guys. And I'm retired, so this is my part of my retirement. So it just helps me out, and it's a good little system. I like it. I'm gonna leave this in here, but as you can see, I have vents on every so often. I have vents in here on this one, and this one, and then I also have vents on the door on this thing here. I put vents in there as well, all the way down, and it's an escape. Oh, look at here, we got a wasp nest. So get out of here, guys. Come on, get. Yeah, I know you're mad at me. Sorry, get out of here. Get rid of that wasp nest. So they want to come up in here, but the board slat separates the outside from the inside. I've never, with it packed like this, I have not had any problems with mites, and I've not had any problems with small hive beetles. I've had this hive here with this queen now for 2 years, and she is laying very well. I opened up, I have dividers in each one of these. Well, I opened this divider here, and they started making honey frames on this end, because I have a little excluder I cut out the size in there, and that way the queen, she can't come over here, so they have nothing but honey on this side. And I use that for the feed on some of these other hives, and then I leave about, like for the winter time, I'll leave 8 frames of honey in there for that hive, and they've gone through the winter time when we come out in March to start doing our regular inspections. But I come in once a month, kind of pull in there and look at it. They've used probably, they'll have a frame, maybe 2 frames of honey left through the winter. So, I mean, they use up about 6 frames of honey surviving the winter with that many bees, just 1 10 frame. And I always knock these down to singles. I'll put a queen excluder in there, get them separated, and then I'll add a queen and pull that hive off, and I'll bring them down to singles to get them to go through the winter. So, but anyway, this is my Nicot system. I'm 63 years old, so I need a little help seeing. So it's a nice little jeweler thing I got. It's got the little lights on it, and it helps me see. And I use it for my grafting as well as with the Nicot system to kind of take a peek at things. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment down below, and please, to help me out, click a like. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot. I'm Mark with the Red Creek Bee Farm. Thanks a lot.